I'm pregnant. Anywho, looks beautiful. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Della. I hope year 2022 has been great so far. I am actually shooting this video on the 4th of January 2022, but unfortunately you'll get to see it maybe a month later, depending on how I feel like rescheduling how I'll post it. But as per today's title of the video, I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but that's my story and this is how it went down. So for you to understand a little bit about the background situation about this story is that I usually get my periods at the end of every month. Now this particular month I had scheduled to go for the COVID-19 vaccine on the 29th. Around that time I had not yet started my periods, and for me that's normal because at times it just carry forwards to the beginning of the next month. So on this particular day I get my vaccine with all these background information on how your body is going to react to the vaccine and whatever. So for me, I believe that I can withstand pain as far as cramps are concerned. So the COVID-19 jab didn't really pin me down that much as I expected, according to how people narrated their side effects based on the pain they had to go through after receiving the jab. So for me, it was withstandable pain. So I only had pain on the left arm where I received my jab, and I couldn't do much on the second day, but at the end of the day I didn't take any medication as far as painkillers, so I was okay. So carry forward to the next, at the beginning of the next month, I had not yet started my periods, but by then I had these painful cramps, which I knew were signs and symptoms of having your period. But then it progressed to the second week of the next month and I had not received my periods. By then I was so confident that the jab was what affected my normal period circulation, menstruation circulation, cycle, sorry. So I was so confident in that I had no issue as far as being pregnant is concerned, apart from other factors. But yes, so I ended up consulting a professional, and what the feedback was that everyone reacts differently to the COVID vaccine. So for me, I was positive that the jab had messed up my cycle a little bit, so it wasn't that much of a hassle per se. But deep into the third week, third week, I started having symptoms of being pregnant, but I was more or less in denial by that fact, because at the back of my mind I knew that the jab was the one causing the delay in my periods and was the one that brought me these side effects. But to be honest, it really, I don't want to say I'm that dumb, but it was dumb for me to really associate some things, pregnancy stuff, to the jab side effects, but meaning what I mean is there was this time I was going to work, and there are kiosks that cook food as early as 9. So when I pass by those kiosks, and I normally, when no, in normal circumstances, the scent of frying onions was so pleasing in the morning. I could literally eat like ugali and skuma because of that aroma. But in this case scenario, I started getting irritated by the smell of onions, which is like the creme de la creme sign that you're pregnant. But in my denial state, I assumed that it was due to the COVID-19 vaccine. So I went ahead and consulted again, and at this point my consultant knew that I was pregnant, but I believe she didn't really have the right way or words to tell me. I don't know. I believe she believed I knew that I was pregnant at that moment. I don't know. But anyway, it started sinking in that there is a possibility that I am pregnant for sure, because I just sat down and analyzed my symptoms, because for one, I really loved a certain meal and I could eat it every other night, but at this point it was just too disgusting to even imagine that I can sit and eat it. And I started slowly accepting the fact that I might be pregnant. This is me transitioning from the denial state to the state where I was accepting that I was pregnant, even though I did not have the test yet. So days went by, and truly I was affected by the smell of food. I hated the smell of food. Then it slowly progressed to hating perfume, including the perfume that I use. I started getting irritated by the smell. I mean, my smell ability increased by 80%. So I was really disgusted by things that I didn't notice. So carry forward to this particular day when I was so tired and didn't want to be I didn't want to be close to anyone who was eating. So what I usually did during lunch hours was isolate myself and just wait for people to, you know how people in the office just, they warm food and everyone has different meals with different smells. So at that lunch hour, I used to isolate myself and just find a place where it's just fresh, more to breathing fresh air, nature. I hated food. That was just the bottom line. I hated any smell of food. So on this particular day, I was sitting with a colleague, and of course he was eating, but I just had to sit there because I didn't have a choice. You know, you can't just run away from everyone and everything, and it's reality and it's there and it cannot go anywhere. You mean you're not special? So I was sitting with this colleague, and I expressed how I felt. And long story short, he's a he also knew that it was signs and symptoms of pregnancy, but by then I did not test. I had not taken any test, but I was more into the fact that I'm pregnant and it is what it is. I can't change that fact. So he went ahead and told me that I should go test and should just start off the journey because it may happen. So I guess that week I decided to take a test and found out that I was pregnant, which was not shocking for me because I already had the signs and symptoms and I already basically accepted that I'm pregnant, and that's how I eventually found out that I was pregnant and had to move forward in terms of what people do when they are pregnant. I mean, that is a story for another day, but regardless, I feel like if this is me defending me, if I had not taken the COVID-19 vaccine, I would know that I was pregnant immediately. But the fact that I did take the vaccine around that time when I often had my periods, I was more in denial that I was pregnant. But that is what is up in my world as far as reality is concerned. I hope you enjoyed the little story time. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so by clicking the red subscribe button. And until the next video, ciao.